Imagine standing in Jakarta, 1997, as the Asian financial crisis erupts. Banks collapse overnight, millions lose savings, and poverty spikes. The International Monetary Fund swoops in with a rescue package, but instead of relief, the prescriptions seem to choke the economy further. Why does a global safety net end up hurting the very people it promises to save? Joseph Stiglitz plunges us into this messy battlefield, where globalization's promises clash violently with harsh realities. Stiglitz unpacks one of globalization's darkest moments, the East Asian financial crisis. What went wrong when the International Monetary Fund tried to rescue economies? It's a sobering tale of good intentions gone awry. In 1997, Thailand's currency plummeted, triggering a regional domino effect hitting Indonesia hardest. The IMF stepped in with bailout conditions, slashing government spending, hiking interest rates, and forcing austerity. This wasn't just economics, it was millions of people's livelihoods tossed into turmoil, causing rampant unemployment and recession. Think of the IMF's approach like giving a patient with severe flu a harsh cold shower to shock them back to health. The idea was to restore confidence quickly, but instead, the economy stalled and weakened. Stiglitz argues this shock therapy ignored local realities and backlash, deepening the crisis. The fallout revealed a brutal truth. Global institutions often push a one-size-fits-all fix that shreds social safety nets. But beyond that, these failures ignited waves of mistrust, spilling from poorer nations into the heart of Western democracies today, where the discontents of globalization fuel political unrest and protectionism. Global institutions promised freedom and fair markets, but Stiglitz reveals how uneven rules and power imbalances skewed the game. What happens when the referee favors the richest players? Stiglitz digs into trade agreements touted as leveling playing fields, yet often stacked in favor of wealthy nations and multinational corporations. For instance, the World Trade Organization's intellectual property laws forced developing countries to pay steep fees for life-saving medications, while richer countries hoarded benefits. Imagine the global market as a fancy casino, but the dealer deals rigged cards. What looks like a free game is actually loaded with invisible rules favoring those who control the chips. Stiglitz calls this out. Markets aren't neutral. They reflect power, politics, and priorities. This rigged system didn't just hurt developing countries. It paved the way for skyrocketing inequality worldwide. Today, rising discontent, from Rust Belt towns to European capitals, is rooted in these skewed structures that globalization failed to fix or even acknowledge properly. Stiglitz doesn't just highlight flaws. He sketches a blueprint for an equitable globalization, one that promises shared prosperity. But is this dream ever achievable? Stiglitz pushes for reform at the IMF, World Bank, and WTO, arguing they must listen more to the voices of developing nations, prioritize long-term growth over quick fixes, and embrace transparency. For example, revising loan conditions to protect social programs could prevent economic freefall during crises. He compares this shift to tuning a high-performance engine, not just cranking power but ensuring smooth, sustainable rides. Markets need rules that protect people's dignity and safety nets, balancing dynamism with fairness. This vision means rebuilding trust, a global social contract where growth doesn't just lift a few but propels entire societies forward. If achieved, it would turn the new discontents into opportunities, restoring belief that globalization can be a force for good, not just disarray. Remember Jakarta, 1997, the chaos that revealed globalization's true costs. Stiglitz shows it's not the idea of global markets that's broken, but how they're managed. The lesson: next time you hear a free market pitch, ask, who's writing the rules? Try this. Start noticing where you benefit or lose in globalization's tangled web. Awareness is the first step to change. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.